If you thought the Mwafreeka versus Rapcha Sayantist beef had peaked, think again. Because just when things seem to calm down, Khaligraph Jones has now officially entered the chat. And not through interviews, not through statements, but through what he knows best. Bars. Bars, mtu wangu. Eh? What happened today adds a completely new layer to this already messy situation. And honestly, it raises more questions than answers. Let's talk about it. Earlier today, Khaligraph Jones posted a freestyle on his Instagram stories, and while he didn't say names directly, anyone paying attention knew exactly who the target was. The bars were aimed squarely at Rapcha Sayantist. In the freestyle, Khaligraph essentially suggests that he was the reason behind the fallout between Rapture and Mwafreeka, which is obviously true, implying that Nini, well, which is obviously true, but with underlying issues. I think the Khaligraph Jones situation exacerbated. Is it exacerbated or exacerbated the whole beef? But yeah, it was more of a catalyst. There were underlying issues. So yeah, so Khaligraph Jones implied that Nini is still standing strong and that he played a role in cutting certain initials. A clear wordplay hinting at Rapture's exit. I won't repeat the exact wording, but the message was loud and clear. Rapture, you're the problem, not Nini. And that alone escalates this from a podcast fallout into full-blown industry beef. Now, here's where things get interesting. Rapture did not respond to Khaligraph's freestyle, but not the way you'd expect. Not rage, no long explanation, no defensive rant. He simply rated the freestyle 5 out of 10. That's it. And in hip-hop culture, that might actually be more disrespectful than an outright insult. Rapture didn't stop there. He doubled down on something he had said before, calling Khaligraph Jones his student. He claims that Khaligraph initially rapped in English, which is true, still does, and only later switched to Swahili, implying that Khaligraph's current style is not authentic, but calculated. Well, Rapcha Sayantist hasn't really been listening to Khaligraph Jones' music because Khaligraph Jones switched his flow quite a long time ago. Squeezy uchanganya Kizungu na Kiswahili. And what made this even more ironic for Rapture is that the diss aimed at him was in Swahili, not English, which is what Khaligraph is usually associated with. To Rapture, this just reinforced his long-standing claim: Khaligraph is fake. Rapture went even further. He dismissed the Swahili and Sheng used in the freestyle, saying he couldn't even understand it, and that it doesn't represent Kayole Sheng, the environment Khaligraph Jones identifies with. In short, he's saying that's not real street language, that's manufactured. And whether you agree or not, this shows something important. Rapture doesn't just dislike Khaligraph's music. He questions his identity, which was made obvious way before the fallout between Chizzi podcast and Nini. Now, here's a key detail many people might miss, or they might not. He blatantly put it out there. Despite Khaligraph clearly typing his freestyle to the Mwafreeka Rapture fallout, Rapture refused to engage with that part. He explicitly said he already spoke about it yesterday. That chapter is closed. He's not going back there. That's significant. It suggests that Rapture sees Khaligraph's involvement as opportunistic, not genuine, which is true. He did mention that on his Chizzi podcast, that Khaligraph Jones is now an opportunist. Everything that they are going to be doing, everything that they are going to be saying, probably in relation to Nini, Khaligraph Jones will always be weighing in. Meanwhile, Mwafreeka has still not responded to Rapture's video from the previous day. And at this point, the silence is no longer neutral, it's strategic. Because now, Rapture has spoken, Khaligraph Jones has spoken, fans are dissecting everything, and Mwafreeka, nothing. That vacuum is allowing other people to control the narrative. Another subtle but important detail in Khaligraph's freestyle, he mocks the set, the Chizzi podcast set, referring to it as a synopsis, clearly taking a jab at the seats and setup Rapture used on his podcast. But here's the funny part, Rapture has already upgraded the setup. New seats, better look, even a new carpet. Actually, a carpet. They didn't have a carpet before. Improved visuals. So the disc already feels outdated, which makes it look like Khaligraph is having fun while Rapture is actually living this beef. And this is where the contrast becomes clear. Khaligraph Jones appears to be entertained by this situation. To him, this feels like content, buzz, engagement, entertainment. Rapcha Sayantist, on the other hand, seems to have genuine disdain, maybe even hatred for Khaligraph. This doesn't feel like friendly sparring, this feels personal. And that difference in energy matters. Here's the question nobody's asking loudly enough, though. Is Khaligraph Jones defending Mwafreeka? Or is he defending himself? Because let's be real, Rapture's criticism of Khaligraph didn't start today. It didn't start with this beef. It's been brewing. And now with Rapture openly questioning Khaligraph's authenticity, his language, his identity, his influence, this freestyle feels like a defense of Nini and more like, let me shut this guy up. This beef has now officially crossed lines. From podcast drama to personal allegations to industry shots to musical responses. And once rappers start jumping in, things really de-escalate. If Mwafreeka continues to stay silent, this could turn into Rapture versus Khaligraph directly, further damage Nini's brand, split fans even deeper. At this point, one thing is clear though. This is no longer just about Nini. This is about ego, legacy, and control of narrative. Khaligraph is playing chess for relevance. Rapture is playing chess for respect. Mwafreeka is nowhere to be seen, or rather nowhere to be heard. And until Mwafreeka speaks, the story will keep being written for him. Let me know what you think. Was Khaligraph's freestyle necessary? Is Rapture right to dismiss him? Or is this whole thing spiraling out of control? Like, comment, subscribe if